Hello. Hey. Just gonna wait a minute or two to see if anybody hops on.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna make dinner while we're doing this. Is there a way I can mute myself?
Yeah, there should be down, for me it's in the bottom left. I don't know if you're on a phone or a computer. For me it's in the bottom left and it's a mute button.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Perfect, you're muted now, just so you know, Elizabeth. Okay, so I know, I don't know, honestly, if anybody else will be able to join us live tonight. I know these calls, they're always hard for people to make because of things like making dinner and everything, but I'm going to try once again. I'm hoping, it's telling me that it's recording, so I'm hoping that this time it actually works and I can post the recording in our group later. But basically just wanted to do another check-in this week, see how you guys are doing, if you have any questions. As we're prepping to go into the weekend, oftentimes the weekends are kind of the hardest for us to stay on track, not only with our workouts, but especially with our nutrition, because that tends to be when people want to go on date nights or go to, you know, get-togethers and parties and everything. So I just always kind of like to do a check-in on Thursdays and see how things are going, but also kind of keep us motivated to keep going through the weekend and get started next week on a strong note. So this is an open conversation. It doesn't have to just be me up here talking. So, you know, do you guys have any questions, any concerns? How do you feel like it's been going so far, diving into these videos and the containers? Are you feeling full and having containers left over? Are you still feeling hungry? Like, where are you at and how are you feeling?
For me, it's been going super well. This has really like been the first week that I've been like all in, and the hardest part I think is like the water consumption, because it's I'm always short on that. I just don't get enough of it, which is funny because right now for work, like this quarter, we have like a bladder buster challenge where we're supposed to be consuming, you know, like I think 64 ounces of water, you know, per day is the goal. So yeah, so I'm struggling in that area. And today was like I was on farm and was a challenging day because, you know, you can't always control your settings, but it was good because I planned ahead and I was able to eat all my stuff like normal. So it wasn't, so it was a victory in that sense that I was still able to stay on track. So that was really cool for me.
I noticed for me, well, I noticed this like just as I got home is I either have not enough vegetables or enough fruit. And so I actually ran out of vegetables. So I got like a bag of freezer vegetables, but for me, they're like really, I mean, look at them. I don't know.
Yay!
But it's better than nothing. Like I'm committed to getting my container, but that was something just like when I'm meal prepping, like making sure that I'm getting like enough vegetables for the week. I go shopping on Saturday. I'm going to have to get more veggies and fruit tomorrow. So I'm just kind of like being mindful of that. So that was good. I think that for me, the meal plan has been going really well. It's kind of different. Like I used to eat just 3 times a day. So it's a little different for me eating 5 times a day, but like it's nice. I think I'm picking it up pretty well. And I've been doing the workouts. I did accidentally swap like the upper body day and the lower body day, but I got them both done. So
yeah, that's great.
I think that's pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's totally great. And so I used to be, and sometimes I still find myself in that situation where like middle of the week I'm running out of, and it's always the fruits and veggies. And for me, a lot of it is because I have two growing boys and I feel like the amount they eat just keeps increasing and I can't keep up with it. Um, but so I've totally been there and I feel you, and it is a constant adjustment. But just to me, it sounds like you're doing great. You're keeping an open mind and you're doing the best you can with what you've got. And I think that that is really great. It's progress, not perfection. And so I think you're on track. And Patty, I also struggle with water. And so something I've been doing the last couple of weeks is I bought a big bag of lemons. And I, every couple of days, I like juice a lemon and I pour it into a pitcher, and then I put water in the pitcher and I keep that in my refrigerator. And so then instead of just water, I have a nice glass of like really lemony water, and it just kind of helps me like want to drink it. It's kind of a treat, and that has helped me quite a bit actually. So
yeah, I'll have to try that for sure. The other thing, I guess, in thinking about it too, is I had a question about, so I have the 21 Day Fix app that like tracks like the containers and stuff. And I've been using that for a while, but so on it, I was just like going on autopilot. It says I'm supposed to have like 3 greens, but then when I was looking in the UPF book, it said I was supposed to have 4 greens. So I was like, oh. So I'm doing the 4 greens now, but I was like, I don't know if I need to upload it or something, or if
yeah, to be honest, I don't know. I used to use that app and then I fell off that wagon, to be perfectly honest with you. It's hard enough for me to remember to like log my shake in our tracker app every day. Like
right.
I'm so bad. But so I'm honestly not 100% sure, but I would go with whatever your calculation said in the UPF. I would go with it because I know that they did redo some things and recalculate. So it might just be that with the, are you an A or B, or what calorie bracket are you in?
The A bracket.
A. So I think that I've paid attention to A and B. I haven't really paid attention to the higher brackets, but I think that they did adjust the containers a smidge with the calculation. So it might have just changed. And I don't know if you like re-download the 21 Day Fix app, if it will update, or if they, I don't know if they have went back to that and updated it, to be honest, but
okay.
Yeah. How are you guys doing the daily logbook that comes with the program?
Yeah,
go ahead, Elizabeth.
I've been doing it. Sometimes I forget. I think it was like last night. I forgot to do the nighttime one, but I did it this morning. So yeah, improvement. I'll get better at it next week, I think.
Yeah, that's great. How about you, Patty?
Yeah, I've kind of been a little bit hit or miss with that. Honestly, I haven't been. It's like I'm focusing on like the container, like it's like my mind only works in one place, and so I'm like just like the food part, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could do a bit better on the journaling.
Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely not perfect either. I tend to be one of those, like I wait until night and I go and I fill it out. And, you know, if you listen, you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to fill it out throughout the day so that you're as accurate as possible with your feelings and how you're like, how eating this food is making you feel and how you're like physically, but, you know, mentally and emotionally as well. So I'm trying to improve. I'm not perfect either, but maybe just something for us all to work on a little harder going into next week, like you said, Elizabeth, and kind of making that a goal. Let's see. Are you guys, with the plans that you're on, are you feeling pretty satisfied? Are you still hungry? How do you feel with that?
I feel pretty good for most of it. There's maybe just been like last night, I was hungry, but then I looked and I hadn't eaten all of my teaspoons, so I had like peanut butter and some chocolate chips, so it all worked out. But yeah, I haven't been hungry, but I have noticed that like now that I'm eating every few hours, you know, if I'm not like staying on track of that, my body definitely lets me know.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I agree. Have you done, Patty, remind me, have you tried the 80-day obsession program with its food plan ever?
No, but in doing some of this, I'm starting to learn a little bit more about that.
Mm-hmm. So I think that just knowing you and how just consistent you've been with your health over the last few years, like I think after we do 21 Day Fix and then Extreme, I think that you should consider jumping into that program because once you really, I feel like, refocus yourself with the portion fix over the next few weeks, stepping it up to the timed nutrition, you're really going to hone in on how eating you like physically makes your body feel and different foods and how like, wow, that really gave me a lot of energy versus, wow, I ate that for lunch. And even though it's like technically food approved, I feel really sluggish this afternoon or what, you know, what have you. Like
Right.
I just really notice things like that. And because it is all like extremely, extremely scheduled, like what can, it sounds, I don't know. I feel like when I say it like that, it sounds kind of nightmarish, but it's actually really awesome. So just something, a side note, like maybe think about doing that after the next, what, like 5
Yeah.
weeks. Because, and I liked the workouts are longer though, but they're really good. I liked them a lot. I liked them a lot. Okay. And then let's see, what else did I say we were going to talk about? Okay, I said that we were going to talk about lessening sugar intake because I know for me this has been hard, and especially with like Easter coming up this weekend, I feel like even though I'm not buying candy for my kids, like candy is appearing in our house all the, like a lot from different activities they're going to and do. And my kids are little; they're like one will be 3 and one is 1.5. So like these aren't even like school age kids bringing home candy, but it's still happening, and I'm having to like fight the urge after they go to bed to go and grab one of those like Reese's cups.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering like how is everybody else doing with to me, I mean, I know 100% I have like a sugar addiction and I'm like constantly working on it, and I feel like when I'm on point and I'm fueling my body the way I need to, I struggle less, but that doesn't mean it completely goes away when I see the Reese's peanut butter cup sitting there. So I'm just, you know, so far I'm doing okay, but I'm just wanting to see how everybody else is doing, especially like I said, going into Easter weekend.
Well, we have a candy jar at work that sits right in front of my desk, but I've actually have not touched it at all this week, but I'm totally, I mean, just like right before this whole thing started, we had a bag of Oreos and I literally was just in her pantry just eating the Oreos because that's what I like to eat. But I overall, like, and one thing I have noticed, because like the sweeteners and stuff I use, since doing this, I haven't really added a whole lot of sugar. We do use like agave pretty much for our sweetener. But I have noticed like when I use regular sugar, I mean, it's such a huge spike. Like it almost like gives me a headache. And even with like the candy and stuff that we have at work, if I have one of those, it's like, yeah, it tastes good, you know, initially, but then it's just like headache afterwards. And it's like that reminder of like, doesn't make it feel very good. So I still will. I haven't had any this week, but you know, like the dark chocolate is definitely my thing. And I know Elizabeth loves it too, but yeah, I've been doing okay so far. How about you, Elizabeth?
Okay. So for me, I also have like a pretty big issue with sugar. And I've always been that way. So like that kind of sucks, but I haven't eaten from the work candy bowl today either. I mean, this whole week either. So that's really exciting.
Yeah.
I do. Oh, here's my dinner I made too. I did all the pork stuff. But so one of the things that I notice is that for me, especially like at nighttime when I'm home and I've like finished everything, is I like need to have chocolate. And thankfully I do like dark chocolate. So like, I guess that's the good side of things. But lately I've just been having like a square a night. So rather than having like several squares or like part of a candy bar, because my husband, what he does is he'll go to the store to get something like dog food and he'll come back with these big candy bars and they're just staring at me. So I did take a bite of his 100 grand yesterday, but I stopped after that. And I think that that's pretty good progress.
That's great.
Yeah, I think for me, my biggest struggle is I'm usually pretty good during the week, but I think like during the weekends, I'm really busy and I'm like always out of my comfort zone on the weekends. So when I get home, like I'll be having a good day, but I'm just like really, really exhausted. And I'm just like, oh yeah, I deserve like a piece of chocolate cake or maybe like 2 pieces or whatever. So trying to like keep my goals in mind, like over the weekend, I think is going to be like a big part for me.
So I think that that's great. And I think that another thing because this is, I always have to also remind myself that this is a lifelong journey. This is a lifestyle and it's not a diet. But even if I'm trying, like right now, I'm taking myself, back to these basics. I'm doing my containers. I'm doing all this stuff. I'm transitioning in. So like what you're saying, like I know the weekends are always hard for me. So when Autumn talked about like, okay, if you're going to swap out 2 to 3 yellows per week for a little dessert, a glass of wine, whatever, maybe try to aim and have those on the weekend the first 2 or 3 weeks until as you're like, again, progress, right? Like as you're trying to adjust your body because the weekends are harder anyways. And that's when you want to come home and have your glass of wine or come home and have your brownie or chocolate cake or whatever. And that doesn't mean that it's perfect. Maybe that brownie you had is not technically fix approved and it counts as like 2 yellows instead of 1. But my point is like, it's a transition, right? And it's a lifelong thing. You're not going to go your whole life without ever having another piece of chocolate cake. So how do we fit it in the best we can while still, well, like you said, like you just have 1 square of chocolate instead of 5 squares of chocolate, or 1 bite of the candy bar instead of the whole darn king size candy bar, right? So I think those are all really good adjustments, and just trying to keep in mind the swaps, like save them for when you really want them. Because that's going to help you keep on track as much as possible as well, I think. So I know for me, I normally have like a carb with breakfast. So if I know that I'm going out with girlfriends or I'm going to do something that evening, then I try to skip the carb at breakfast so that I can do it for my swap, later that night. So yeah. Okay, great. Do you guys have any questions or concerns, as we prepare ourselves to go into the weekend and next week?
I do. After hearing you talk, I do have a question about wine. What is the deal with the yellow container? Is that like 1 glass?
Yes. So you can swap one of your yellow containers for, Patty, do you remember off the top of your head, is it 4 or 6 ounces of wine?
Sadly, I think it's 4.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was thinking, but I was kind of hoping it was 6. But yeah, 4 ounces of wine is one yellow container. So.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, that was a good point too, because I'm all about the wine on the weekends too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too. Especially like this weekend, my husband's out of town, so I'm like, I'm gonna need some wine. So I'm planning. I'm like, okay, how can I make this work? Yeah. So, okay, great. Anything else?
I don't think so. I did have one more participant. Her name's Holly, who just got her stuff today. She's been watching some of the videos, so hopefully next week she'll be able to join us too and join the chat.
Awesome. That's awesome. Well, once we hang up here in just a minute, I'm going to see if I can get this recording to post. That way, if the people who aren't able to log in live, if they have questions or comments, they can add them in, and we can all then re-participate with them and join in further discussion to help us through. But thank you guys so much for joining in tonight and taking the time. I really appreciate it. And if you don't have anything else, then I guess we'll just sign off and say, see you next week.
Yeah, thanks for all the tips.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, thanks, Kimberly.
No problem. Talk to you guys later.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.